Chairman Gensler, have you ever spoken to Senator Menendez about the Security and Exchange Commission's Director of Enforcement, Gurbir Grewal?
No.
On May 20th, 2021, your public calendar notes a call with Senator Menendez. What was discussed during that call, if you can remember?
2 years ago, sir, but if I recall, there was some discussion about possible disclosure by public companies of political contributions.
Well, you hired Mr. Grewal as the SEC's Director of Enforcement shortly after that May 20th call. Are you aware of the glowing statement in support that was put out by Senator Menendez praising your hire?
I thank you for letting me know that, but until you told me, or until today.
Well, I'm deeply concerned about this, and I'll be following up with your office with additional questions and expect a written response. Mr. Chairman, I really liked your colorful testimony, and you're right. We are blessed with the largest, most sophisticated, most innovative capital markets in the world, but we cannot take this for granted. Even a gold medalist must keep training. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, if the U.S. capital markets are a gold medalist, you are the Tanya Harding of securities regulation, because you are kneecapping the U.S. capital markets with the avalanche of red tape coming out of your commission. On your climate disclosure rule proposal, you say that the SEC is merit neutral, that your focus on consistency and comparability of disclosure is not the merit of the investment. Sir, that is just not believable. The requiring Scope 3 emissions will lead to wildly inaccurate and immaterial disclosures that will be of little practical use to investors. They would also unfairly and inaccurately portray companies as major polluters that are, in reality, have very low carbon footprints. Let's be honest, the agenda here is not to provide investors with relevant information, but instead to redirect capital away from fossil energy. Your proposal would discriminate against fossil energy, and you've repeatedly claimed that these disclosures are rooted in investor protection, but the largest U.S. energy exchange-traded fund is up 15% over the last 3 months. It's near its highest level in 9 years. How is it protecting investors to deter investment in profitable companies?
This is not doing that, with all respect. All it is about trying to bring some comparability to disclosures being made. We're not a climate agency.
I know. I've heard you say this.
We're really not.
But let's be honest. We know what's going on. We know what's going on. You're trying to scarlet letter fossil energy.
We're not.
I know you say you're not, but we got the joke. Everybody knows what you're doing. You're trying to redirect capital away. You're trying to discriminate against fossil energy, notwithstanding your protests. Most American investors find all of this Scope 3 emissions nonsense and immaterial. It's immaterial. I know institutional investors talk about this, but this is about an agenda to discriminate against fossil energy, which is profitable. That's not protecting investors. That's hurting investors. It's steering them into less diversified, lower performing funds. Let me move on to the perfect storm of regulations. Let me just move on real quick. Have you consulted with Vice Chair Barr about the Basel III endgame and the interplay between what you're doing on capital markets regulation and what's happening in commercial real estate? I'm very concerned about this because Basel III will increase the cost of credit, diminish lending capacity, and undermine the role that banks play in lending and financial intermediation in commercial real estate. Have you talked to the Fed about how this interacts with conflicts of interest and securitization rule, Rule 15C211, private funds, custody rule, and others? Because I'm really worried that Basel III endgame and all of your regulatory proposals would lead to a death by 1,000 cuts for commercial real estate when we're looking at maturities of $1.5 trillion in commercial real estate over the next 3 years. And it's not just about, refinancing from 3% to now 8%. It's now the fact that Basel III and then all of the non-bank activity is going to be sidelined as a result of the interplay between Basel III and your regulations.
We have ongoing conversations with the Federal Reserve about a number of our roles, but they have the lead on Basel III. That's not something we consult with them on.
All right. Well,
Gentleman, time's expired. I'd ask you to submit the answer to for the record.
The interplay is important. Yield back.